Health, safety, and security are important in the workplace because it is essential to protect your employees from the unforeseen future, illnesses, injuries, emergencies, and other health and safety hazards. That's why, regarding this topic, we will discuss today one of the most well known hotels in Sydney, Australia, the Avolo Hotel Woolloomooloo. Good day, I'm Latricia Mendoza, and I'm researcher presenter in charge for today. Before we begin, let's have our introduction first to Avolo Hotel Woolloomooloo. Sydney's Avolo Woolloomooloo is a five-star hotel. All lodging feature Google Chromecast and distinctive antique features. The motel is close to the Royal Botanical Gardens in Woolloomooloo. Sydney Opera House can be reached on foot in 15 minutes. The 24-hour fitness center, indoor pool, business center, complimentary breakfast, and the Law Lounge social hour are all available to guests. The Woolloomooloo Avolo Hotel, its outstanding location, close to the CBD and its numerous sites, makes it an exceptional and fantastic choice for a classy and convenient stay in Sydney.
Let's now distinguish the six different areas that the business operate or the business have to be followed with the compliance and its relevant regulation inside the business premises.
First is the accommodation compliance. Area of compliance is building codes is required to guarantee the safety and structural integrity of the building. Regulations linked to fire prevention mandate the provision of fire detection systems, emergency lighting, firefighting equipment, and evacuation routes. Regulations governing accessibility may also be in place. The second one is the bar compliance. Area of compliance. The hotel needs to acquire the appropriate licenses and authorization in order to legally serve alcohol on the premises. The third one is the restaurant and food safety compliance. Area of compliance. The hotel's restaurant must abide by stringent food safety regulations in order to maintain high standards of cleanliness and proper food handling and preparation. Following the proper storage and temperature guidelines is necessary to prevent foodborne disease. For the restaurant to be legally function, the relevant food service permit must be obtained and local health department regulations must be followed. The fourth one is the health and safety compliance. Area of compliance. In order to identify and address any risks, routine inspections are necessary. Enough training must be provided to employees on safety procedures and emergency response. The next one is the privacy and data protection compliance. Area of compliance. Placing of adequate safety precautions such as encryption and access controls protects personal information, secure integrity, and secrecy of information. And the last compliance is the accessibility compliance. Area of compliance. Disability discrimination and accessibility law are just one of the compliance that was condemned with this because it encompasses equality access for all of their guests with disabilities. Let's now jump to assessing of laws, licensing, and relevant regulations to of Avolo Hotel Woolloomooloo. And the first one is the government websites, legislation databases, Safe Work Australia, privacy laws and regulations, and food safety standards. And lastly are the liquor licensing. Let's now jump to the penalties, fines, and consequences with laws and licensing requirements under the Avolo Hotel Woolloomooloo. So the first one is the accommodation compliance. So the risks that may apply here are hazardous condition for the guests, the possibility of mishaps or injuries and damaging properties. Penalties and fines are the breaking building regulations and safety standards, as well as possible legal responsibilities in the event of an accident or injury. Consequences may be closure of non-compliant sections, a loss of reputation and client confidence, the possibility of legal action, and financial obligations. The second one is the bar compliance. Under this one, risks could be providing alcohol to kids or minors, drinking excessively, breaching alcohol laws, and endangering public safety. The penalties or fines that they may face are the license suspensions or revocation, criminal charges, and other legal repercussions may be imposed for incidents or accidents involving alcohol drinking. The consequences again will be bar closure, revenue loss, reputational harm, probable legal action, and fines. The third one would be the restaurant and food safety compliance. The risks that may be at here are the customer's health may be at danger from illnesses caused by the foodborne contaminants, damage, and failure to comply with hygiene and food safety regulation and breaches of the license rules. Penalties are the restaurant closure, revocation of food service licenses, closure of food service location, legal responsibilities in the event of food-related illnesses, and fines. The consequences, again, as the same before, are the reputational damage, customer loss, possible lawsuits, financial liability, and revenue loss. Under the health and safety compliance, we have the risks such as workplace incidents, injuries to employees or guests, and breaches of safety rules and laws. Penalties include fines, orders for work stoppages, and even legal repercussion in the case that non-compliance leads to an accident or injury. The consequences again are rising insurance costs, diminished staff morale, harm to one's reputation, the possibility of legal action, and fines. The next one, or the fifth one, is the privacy and data protection compliance that has a risks such as loss of customers' trust, unauthorized access to or exploitation of personal data, and data breaches. Penalties would be reputational harm, fines for failing to comply with data protection laws, possible legal duties in the event of data breaches. Consequences again will be loss of customer confidence, bad press, the possibility of legal action, financial obligations, and harm to a brand's reputation. Lastly is the accessibility compliance. The risks here that may apply are the failure to provide accessible facilities or reasonable accommodations for guests with disabilities. The penalties on compliance here would be legal actions under disability discrimination laws and fines or penalties for non-compliance with accessibility regulations. Consequences again would be reputational damage, customer loss, possible lawsuits, financial liability, and revenue loss. Let's now discuss when to seek legal advice. When establishing a business or relocating into a new industry, it may be vital to obtain legal advice from experts. Whenever a company or business has to deal with challenging problems or disputes, or when the business is subject to regulatory inquiries on enforcement actions, legal advices is a must and a key to enforce a very good action all the way. In Australia, here are the Access Specialist Legal Advisors, State Legal Services, the law schools or law societies, NSW Legal Assistance, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission or the ACCC, Fair Trading in New South Wales, the Australian Federal Court. So now that we're officially done, I hope that you'll enjoy this vlog that tackles about the hotel amenities and many more. Again, on behalf of Avolo Hotel Wulumulu, I am your presenter and researcher for today, Altricia Mendoza, and I hope that you learn and know a lot regarding to Australia's work health and safety precautions. Thank you.